Hi, my name is Rowan, and I did not prepare a script for this. I offered to make a little tutorial on how I draw faces for a friend, David, and so this is for you. Sorry. Um, so this is not really important, but I like to use a .5 mechanical pencil usually. Right now I'm using a .7 just because I couldn't find a .5. But yeah, let's get into it. I don't make tutorials a lot, so I don't know how to really do this. I think I'm good at explaining. Whatever. Okay. When you're drawing a head, you want to start out with a circle, usually. That's what I do. A circle and a line, because to me, that circle and that line represent the center of the skull and the front of the skull. So if I were to continue making this face using this as a base, I would go in with the jawline and the sides of the face, and that's how that would look. And if I were continuing this one, I would go in with one half of the jawline and add in a neck, add in some shoulders, and voila, you have a bust. But that's not really very detailed. Step by step. Circle for the basic shape of the skull, line for the front of the head or the face, the middle of the face. And then from here, I like to add another line for where the center of the neck meets the center of the skull. Using that, I can trace, well, not trace, but it just helps me figure out where and how I want the lines of the neck and shoulders to go. There's not really a method to the shoulders when you're doing a bust sketch. I just like to do a few simple straight lines. Now, how you draw the face is probably gonna depend on your art style. I like to keep things pretty simplistic, focusing mostly on line weight and a few angles and curves. Expressions are something you can get to later after you've gotten the hang of, making faces. But I feel like they're also just something that you learn along the way. I like to do these like little 3 lines for blush because it's a stylistic choice. One thing that you want to keep in mind about proportions is that the top of the ears, where it connects to the skull, is going to be, if you draw a line from that point to the eyes, the line should be straight. And the same thing with the nose and the bottom part. Yeah. How I was originally taught was with the circle, the center lines, the chin line, the eye line, and the nose line. I like drawing people with confused expressions, if you can tell. And that's where I got that method from when I was taught with the eye line, the nose line, and the center line. That's where I learned that little trick from. That's how I draw faces. I also used to do a bunch of sketching of the individual facial features, those hyper-realistic eyes that you draw on the margins of your notes during class. When I was younger, I used to draw noses in this really silly way where I would use 3 circles. And I say it's really silly, but it is technically a genuine method for people who are realistic artists, I think. Who do realism. That's the word. For artists who do realism. But I'm not one of those people, and I didn't really learn that method properly enough. Right now, what I'm showing you is techniques that I abandoned back in 3rd grade. It was really silly when I drew it back then, but it looks pretty okay when I'm drawing it now. Oh, and then I mentioned that I like to do a few lines for blush. Sometimes I also put those over the nose bridge sometimes. Not often though. Another important thing about drawing is you need to figure out if you want to do you need to figure out what kind of style you're going to draw on. So for the nose that I just showed you, I was drawing on tutorials that I saw for realism. But in the style that I draw now, it's very cartoonish. And just because you draw cartoonishly doesn't mean you can't draw realism and stuff, right? But it's important to know what you're going to focus on. For example, a thing about my art style is that when I draw someone, I like to keep the little guideline in, even after, I'm fully done drawing the bust, if I'm drawing hair, So let's pretend this is this person's hair. There's still that little circle back there. Icarus calls it a little halo, and I don't disagree with him. It does look like a halo. Give me a moment to find another example of that in my sketchbook somewhere. That isn't a spoiler for the patient files. But, oh yeah, okay. So over here, I was drawing another drawing of this gender bent AU that I have. That's Charles Talbot. Anyways, you can see that the sketch guideline circle that I used, it's still there. Looks like a little halo. So that's a part of my style. I was gonna say something. Yeah, and then you don't always have to strictly follow the guidelines. Sometimes I'll start with my circle up here, and then I'll end up having the person's head way down here. And then the halo will be a lot more pronounced. Or something. Yep. Anyways, that's my tutorial. I still don't know how to draw thumbs ups. Yay! Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.